talk about what happens if you're in an automobile accident and you happen to be at fault for the accident. You're facing the possibility of claims from anyone who suffers an injury or suffers damage to their vehicle. You need insurance coverage to protect you against those claims, and we're going to talk about the kind of coverage you ought to have. Those coverages are called liability coverages, and you should look at the deck sheet, part of your policy that tells you what coverage you have so that you know how much insurance you have. Then you should talk to your agent about how much insurance you need. Liability coverage as a minimum will be $25.50 starting in November of this year, which means $25,000 for each person that's injured, up to $50,000 for an accident. In this day and age, that's simply not enough for most people. You should have at least $100,000, $300,000, again $100 for each person that's injured, up to $300,000. That's so because medical expenses and other expenses have become so much more than they used to be that having limits that were put in force 25, 30 years ago just doesn't make sense. The other kind of coverage you need is coverage that's called property damage coverage. That generally is $10,000. When cars cost often $30,000 to $40,000 nowadays and more, that may not be enough either. What's really critical is that you have security and peace of mind, and to have that, you need to be confident that the amount of coverage you have is adequate to take care of any situation you're likely to find yourself in. Finally, you ought to consider whether you need an umbrella policy. If you have significant assets, an umbrella policy is not terribly expensive, and it will provide $1 million or more in additional coverage if, heaven forfend, you're involved in an accident where somebody suffers a very serious injury. Talk to your agent about these things. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me.